Let's take a closer look at how we can narrow, slow, and close resource loops as distinct circular economy strategies and some examples of how they work in practice. Narrowing loops can be achieved through using fewer resources per product, and this strategy is aimed at reducing the resource use related to the product and production process. An example of this might be lean manufacturing, where the efficiency of production processes is constantly optimized, which saves money as well as reducing environmental impact. This might be one of the reasons why narrowing loops has been so widespread in our current linear economy. Another example is lightweighting cars, which saves materials in the production phase as well as saving on fuel in the use phase. The engineering prototype car of the British automotive startup Riversimple only weighs 580 kilograms, which is a fraction of the typical weight of a car. And Riversimple actually combines narrowing loops with other strategies like moving from ownership of a car to access to a car, which also helps with slowing and closing loops. Slowing resource loops can be achieved through the design of long-life goods and product life extension. The time during which we use products is extended or intensified, resulting in a slowdown of the flow of resources. Perhaps the most classic slowing loops example are businesses who design products to last. A watch or a piece of classic furniture may be designed to be passed on from one generation to the next. Instead of focusing on product life extension, businesses can also focus directly on slowing consumption of products or resources, but this is very challenging and there are not many good examples. I'm working with a part government-funded spin-off from TU Delft, which experiments with business models to slow consumption. We want to incentivize customers to reduce the impact of home appliances, starting with washing machines. Consumers pay per wash rather than buying the washing machine. We provide quality washing machines that last a long time and are built to be reused and recycled. But most importantly, we also focus on stimulating fewer and lower temperature washes, so customers only pay when they use the washing machine and they pay less if they wash at cold temperatures. Our hope is that we can prove that these types of radical circular business strategies work in the real economy. Repairing, cleaning and maintaining products also helps to slow loops, as does making new products from old ones or remanufacturing. This is already being done a lot for medical devices. Used devices are thoroughly checked and tested for compliance. Worn parts are replaced and software is updated to current standards. This way the life cycle of the product can be extended, which saves both on costs for medical facilities and decreases waste. Another way to slow resource loops is by challenging current consumption models, like when the outdoor company Patagonia launched the Common Threads initiative to encourage people to consume less and instead repair, reuse and recycle clothing. With their ad "Don't buy this jacket" in the New York Times, the company was trying to create awareness for slow consumption. But then many people still did buy that jacket, highlighting the complexity of slowing loops in practice. Closing resource loops can be achieved through recycling, where the loop between disposal and production is closed, resulting in a circular flow of resources. In major industries like paper, metals and plastics, recycling rates are already quite significant, but there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of design, business models and value chains to improve recovery rates as well as recycling rates. Closing loops can really help to reduce the amount of waste that goes to landfill, but if done the right way, it can also save on costs for raw materials, as recycled materials can be used in new products. Nike Grind, for example, makes new sports fields out of old trainers. G-Star's Raw for the Oceans turns ocean plastic into new garments, and Interface Networks make new carpets out of old fishing nets. They also work with local communities to prevent future disposal of fishing nets into the sea. Of course, value chains and business models should be designed so that the products do not become a waste in the first place and are instead recovered or recycled. This would mean that some waste-to-value business models, especially relating to materials which are being landfilled or dumped in the sea, would not be necessary. We would prevent the waste in the first place and would create continuous loops of reuse of products and recycling of materials. We can also think more innovatively about how to close loops. In the food industry, Gunther Pauli is famous for his work on the blue economy and creating multiple value cycles. For instance, mushrooms can be grown using coffee waste, and in this way, coffee waste becomes food. Salad crops can be fertilized with fish poo through aquaponics processes, connecting fish tanks to salad beds. Again, what might be considered waste in one process can often be a resource for another. In a perfect world, companies would combine strategies of narrowing, slowing, and closing resource loops in a circular business model. While this is still an ideal rather than a norm, some companies already move in this direction. An example is the startup Mud Jeans, which is the first in the world to lease jeans to end consumers, and their aim is to stimulate a sustainable lifestyle through clothing reuse and recycling. So there are lots of examples of different circular strategies that companies are pursuing. Ideally, companies in a circular economy try to retain the value of resources. Companies would encourage reuse, refurbishment, and remanufacturing, followed by recycling. In the circular economy, service loops will help maintain the value of products. The circular economy requires innovations at the technology, business model, design, and value chain level. We need to design our products, business models, and value chains with a clear circular intent and follow up innovations with assessment of actual impact.